Well,
So
my browser freaks out completely. Let's transition into the movie.
right, so yeah, so we said we're going to talk Star Trek and then Star Trek, and Star Trek. The second thing we're talking is Star Trek Beyond, which is obviously the new release of the last of the three reboot films.
I think that changed.
Did it
Didn't
really?
didn't we? Didn't I was trying to pull it up, but I can't. I believe that they scheduled a fourth one within the last couple days with the same cast.
Well, obviously minus one, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think so. Oh crap! I meant to look that up before we started recording. But if I remember right, yeah, they want a fourth one, and this time Kirk's dad comes back.
Yep, it's a go on Deadline.com. Variety Cinema Blend
Cinema,
are all
Cinema Blend.
Cinnamon Blend. See, no, that's a whole different thing.
Tracy's thinking about food again. Focus,
I always
focus,
am.
woman.
I always am. Yeah, it says that fourth Star Trek movie a go at Paramount.
Yeah.
So, yep, there it is. Chris Pine will be back.
Huh.
Oh joy. Oh joy.
You sound so thrilled. So, Star Trek Beyond, the third of the J.J. Abrams reboot. What are they calling this universe now? The Calvin universe? The Kelvin universe?
I don't know.
I'm not even sure, but it wasn't. J.J. Abrams didn't direct this one.
He didn't direct this one. That was Jason Lin, but he's the executive producer. He's
Right.
boss
Oh, I
man of
see.
this project.
He also directed
And-
the first two.
Yeah, so this is.
Did you guys hear that his wife saw his first Star Trek movie and literally told him to knock it off with the lens flares? I'll
I'm
throw that in
glad.
the show notes if I can find
I
that.
mean,
But yeah, his wife actually
No,
called him out
somewhere
on it.
somewhere there is actually J.J. Abrams apologizing for too much lens flare. I felt so vindicated about that because man, was I pissed about the lens flare in that movie.
It was
There's a
yeah, it was
YouTube-
insane.
There's a YouTube video out there somewhere, and it was like, what if J.J. Abrams directed this? And it's like different movies of like Titanic with a ton of lens flare, or Terminator 2 with a ton of lens flare. It's the exact same films, just they just add a bunch of freaking lens flare.
Nice.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So in this installment of the new Star Trek universe, the Enterprise is sent out to investigate what appears to be a downed ship. A sole survivor appears, tells them that her ship was attacked. They go out to investigate it, and you saw from the trailer, the Enterprise gets hosed, and the entire movie is them basically trying to escape from the planet that the remnants of the Enterprise crashed on while fighting the villain Crawl, played by Idris Elba. What did you guys think of this? I got to see it this morning at a Sunday matinee. My theater was almost 50-60% full. I was kind of surprised, and they kind of dug it. What did you think?
Yeah, in general, I think overall I liked it. We'll get into the deeper reasons, the deeper stuff here in a minute, but I think there were some directorial shit show choices. There were some scenes in there that could have been really a lot better that were just fucking awful. And I think there were some other lesser problems with the film, but overall I thought it was pretty enjoyable. It was certainly better than I anticipated it being.
I kind of agree with that. I would say that it's a solid installment into this reboot series. Is it a stellar film? Am I, as a non-Star Trek fan, going to buy it? No, I'm not. But I think that if you like Star Trek and you're the type of person that wants, I think that you could feel perfectly confident in your decision to go purchase this movie when it comes out on Blu-ray. So, we did go to the matinee on Friday, so we didn't really have a very full theater, although we did have a very responsive theater. So there were in fact, it was kind of annoying. There were a lot of people talking to the screen, nodding along, talking, you could gasping, really responding and interacting with the movie. I think our group was kind of unsure of whether we were actually watching. We were in a theater with a good projector because it was a little dark, and I think it was too dark for it to be a movie thing. I think that we may have even been watching in a 3D theater in which they had just played a 2D movie, so they shut off one of the projectors, so we had less light.
Huh.
So I can't say that my issues with the darkness of the film or even some of the sound were because of the movie itself. I'm thinking we were in a bad theater. So
Yeah, you might have been in a bad theater because I didn't think visually the film had many problems in it. There were a couple parts you're like, wow, this looks really stupid early on, where Kirk is talking to those like little aliens, or those
Oh, I
little
thought that
aliens,
was awesome. That was my
Well,
favorite scene when.
I
they
thought,
looked really bad.
yeah, I thought it was funny, but yeah, the CGI on those were a little wonky.
They were really wonky. But other than that, I thought the film looked pretty crisp and clean, as most of these Star Trek films have been good. So the special effects were pretty good. As far as the plot goes, I was just kind of like underwhelmed by the whole thing. I wouldn't say it was a bad film. I think it's because I went in with really low expectations.
Yeah,
I thought the trailers were really terrible.
You were expecting
I was
a shit
expecting
show.
an utter mess. It really wasn't. There are some parts of the plot or just elements of the plot that just have big holes in them that maybe if I go back I'll understand better. But when you look back at it, you're like, I wonder why this is the case and that's the case. But overall, it was just kind of a okay action film that happened to have the Star Trek name in it. There really wasn't anything special here. Really, you can't really spoil the film because it's your typical good guys win, bad guys lose summer action movie. It really wasn't. That was my problem, I guess, is the main point is it's just okay. There's really nothing special here. There's no great set piece. I didn't find it particularly funny. The audience did. I don't think I even cracked a smile once watching this. And the cast was fine. They were pretty serviceable. Really not much I can add to this. It was just an okay movie. So, my main issues come from just the weirdness of the villains in the movie. That they were just kind of strange, never got explained, and then it was kind of over.
Yeah, so my two complaints were, one, especially towards the beginning, like the destruction of the Enterprise, there was a lot of really bad shaky cam.
Yeah,
yes. like Muhammad Ali was holding the goddamn camera. Muhammad Ali, Michael J. Fox is shooting second.
Well, I don't think Muhammad Ali could hold the camera. It would be really still because he's dead.
Didn't he recently pass?
That'd be the best steady cam ever. At this point.
Yeah, I mean, so I think there were a number of shots in that could have, I think, looked better. And the other thing, kind of like what you alluded to, I think the villains needed some more explanation. I actually could have used a little bit more of a monologue from Idris Elba about what he wants and
what his motivations were at all.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. Usually, I absolutely hate it when the villain explains to the hero what he's doing. And after walking out of this film, like, well, we kind of needed that scene because I had no idea what the hell.
Yeah.
The best thing I could ascertain was he was a soldier who went crazy and just wants now to blow shit up because he's a soldier. And I thought, that's not fair to soldiers.
No, so at least what I gathered, so he was a soldier. He was a Mako, which if you watch Star Trek Enterprise, was kind of their group of Marines, effectively, that were just basically disbanded when the Federation was actually formed. And so this guy was then given command of a starship. The starship crashed. And basically he feels betrayed by the Federation because the Federation never came looking for him.
That I did catch, yeah.
But so there's my big problem there. They don't go back and get him. But then they show in the movie, they show multiple times the same reel of this green footage of them apparently being rescued or not. That's where I got kind of confused.
No, that's not. You're talking on the Franklin. That's not a rescue. That's just like a home movie. They filmed while on their mission.
Oh, okay, because that was not made clear. It was like, there they are. Here comes the shuttles, and the guy on the audio was like, "Well, it's about time." And I thought that was them being rescued. It's about time we got rescued. Okay, see, that wasn't clear.
Yeah, no, and I agree that that's not very clear. Yeah, it's one of those things. Unfortunately, I think an actor as strong as Idris Elba was a little wasted in this role because he just kind of was there. The character, kind of was the speech was very forced, very mumbled. So there wasn't a whole lot for him to do with the character.
Yeah, and then we're to assume that, okay, so this is a crashed ship. They find technology that turns them into
something else.
Kind of thin head monsters with sharp teeth.
Something else.
Yeah.
And then
they can turn back
if they absorb humans. And it was just strange. I couldn't figure it out. And then he's like, "Oh, here's this weapon that the ancient ones use." Like, who are the ancient ones, and how did you know that? And what? And then you've got a crew from a ship that, could only maybe be a few hundred, but he's got this what appear to be millions of ships at his disposal. They can't all have people in them, can they?
Yeah,
there's a lot that just was weird.
Yeah. No,
although, yeah.
And all these things are indestructible. Like they can ram stuff and like they just don't break. But if you shoot, it was strange. There's a lot of just stuff you had to take really on face value. If you thought about it, it was like, this is kind of dopey.
Yeah.
And then the way they destroy them towards the very end is they use radio waves and the Beastie Boys. There's just stuff that was bizarrely out of place. Why are the Beastie Boys, an NWA, and a motorcycle in this? It just seems silly. And you probably noticed it. As they're destroying these B ships, or the Bs that they call them in the movie, they literally turn into a wave that the Franklin surfs.
Yes.
Yes.
Did you know? And I was just this is getting. And again, the director is from the Fast and Furious franchise, so it's not much of a surprise. It just felt terribly out of place.
Yeah.
It just felt goofy.
Yeah. Now, one of the things I did really like about this film is it, I don't know, brought back, but it significantly reinforced the Kirk, Spock, McCoy relationship. Because for the first two films, and this is something that Abrams consciously did, is it was Kirk and Spock, and he replaced McCoy to a large extent with Uhura. And I always felt like that. Certainly, I have no problem with them, more incorporating Uhura, as a female lead. But I felt that particular that triangular relationship there was really one of the linchpins that held the original series and the original films together. And it was nice.
The friendship, not the love triangle, is what you mean.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that friendship, that that really a kind of a brotherly, especially like the banter between Kirk and Spock, or not between McCoy and Spock.
Yeah, that was fun.
That's always been one of my favorites, and I think of the new cast, I think Karl Urban does the best at channeling the original character. This is
just in general, he really impressed me with his acting in this one.
Well, I was gonna say, this is the first one I've really actually enjoyed Zachary Quinto as Spock, and I really disliked him in the first two, and I liked him much more in this one. And again, Karl Urban was still just spot on DeForest Kelley bones.
See, I have a general problem with that, is that Karl Urban now is basically anchored to imitating DeForest Kelley, which I don't think is good for any actor or any franchise to do. And just on a personal level, I didn't find their banter amusing or entertaining at all. I just found it annoying. Overall, I didn't enjoy any of that. Like, even the Simon Pegg and that little alien friend that he has.
I've never cared for the little alien.
I didn't like any of that.
Honestly,
I always forget he exists.
Simon,
every movie I watch it and I go, oh, right, that guy.
Simon Pegg is one of my least favorite ones in this one, actually, and I really enjoy Simon Pegg, but I don't think he does Scotty particularly well.
He wrote this one. He co-wrote this one.
He did, I know.
Yeah.
Which is probably why Scotty has a bigger role in this one.
Right.
I actually really liked the character Jayla, the white and black.
Didn't care for her at all.
Yeah, I kind of figured you guys weren't going to like her all that much, but I thought she was really cool looking, and I liked her attitude, and she often stole scenes for me.
I think she was interesting looking, but at the same, she didn't really stand out to me. I didn't dislike her, but I was kind of just unimpressed.
Apparently she learned Kung Fu while being isolated on the Franklin for her entire life. So somewhere along the line, she taught herself Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Good for her.
I mean, everybody's got to have a hobby.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, again, it was just, to me, I was just underwhelmed by it. For me, a Star Trek film should have some kind of moral, ethical conundrum based on some sort of science fiction premise. And the Abrams films are basically action movies.
Yeah.
And then
That's
we
a
talked
fair
about it last
assessment.
week. Yeah, and then we talked about with Ghostbusters how they just made it an action movie. Let's just all make them action movies, and everyone will love them. And the truth is, my opinion on this doesn't matter. It made $56 million this weekend, so it did really, really well. So obviously, Abrams and Paramount and company know what the hell they're doing, because if we were trying to put together a Star Trek film, no one's gonna freaking see it. And good for them. This was a $150 million film to make.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, I would say solid entry into the franchise, and not much else.
It certainly wasn't a disappointment, which is nice.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out. I'm looking at Box Office Mojo right now, trying to figure out where Ghostbusters slipped, because that was kind of something we were wondering about.
I saw a headline that said something like 63% drop.
That's not good. I'm looking at it right now. I see.
Also, Ice Age tanked to no one's surprise.
Yeah, Ice Age 5 of all things. The Star Trek debuts up at 1. Let's see if we can do weekend chart. Here it is, full weekend chart. Let's just look at it real quick. Star Trek Beyond looks like its estimated weekend gross is $59.6 million. My mistake, in almost 4,000 theaters. It's a $185 million budget film.
Oh.
Jeez. Okay, and then number 2 is Secret Life of Pets. That grossed almost $30 million, $29.3 million. Ghostbusters now only has $21 million in its second week, and it's a 53.1% drop on a $144 million budget we talked about.
That
Lights
hurts.
Out, the horror film with a budget of $5 million, opens with $21.6 million. Right now, it's like, if you
someone
want to make
just
money,
shit their pants.
yeah, right now, if you want to make money, horror and comedies. That's really where it is.
Well, in part because even if you have a $20 million opening, if you only spent $5 or $10 million making the movie, guess what?
Absolutely. I mean, that was the
Turned a
problem.
profit,
Yeah, absolutely. That was the problem with Tarzan. Tarzan's probably going to get saved, at least in the realm of profitability, by the foreign markets. But it made $115 million, but it's a $180 million film to make.
Yeah.
I mean, Star Trek and Tarzan were roughly the same to make. So, look, obviously, they know what the people want right now. And it's Star Trek that is just another big action franchise. And that's what we did this time. I would like to have just been in space more. I thought that would have been kind of cool.
I will say, like, the destruction of the Enterprise, that was fucking brutal.
It was a well shot scene.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Oh, I was going to say, it reminded me a little bit, not like at all visually, but the concept of, like, in Wrath of Khan, when Khan shoots up the Enterprise, he knew exactly where to hit us.
Right.
He knew exactly how to fuck the Enterprise.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Chop the nacelles off, break its neck, all that kind of stuff. Or cut its throat, I think he says at one point.
He says cut its throat, but like the first thing he does is take out the deflector array, and then goes for the nacelles.
Right. Yeah. It was a nice scene, but it's like, it's Star Trek. I want to be in space.
Right.
I want to be in stars. I don't want to be on a planet and then a space. Although I'll say this: that space station, the Yorktown space station.
Ooh, that was cool.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing. That's the cool thing about this series right now is you can, with the technology, you can really make the Star Trek universe come alive.
Yeah.
Where they were very much limited with what they could do. Although I did find it funny is they've got like holograms and iPads, and then when Kirk asks Uhura to patch him through, she literally flips a switch.
Yeah, I saw that. Although
she pulls the little red covers down and flicks them back, and I'm like, really? Okay.
Although, admittedly, like and you and I work on ships for a living, like
right.
it literally is just picking up a mic and pushing a button. Like it's not like we're making this even more complicated than it needs to be.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I was like, I get it, I kind of get it, but yeah, I mean, it was just okay. I think I'm just gonna forget about this. I mean, again, I saw it as a matinee. The theater was pretty full, so
yeah. I
think Paramount has a winner this time. It won't be a Star Wars style winner, but it's a winner.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say. I think that's all you can really say about this one. I mean, Sulu's gay. That was the big reveal that everyone knew going into this.
At least they did it tastefully.
That was the part that disappointed me. I want to see full male-on-male action. I just want to see like a scene where they're on the shuttle and they just look to their left and there's Sulu, and apparently he's into older dudes just going at it. That would have been great. Because I was reading the article, like Decay didn't really like the fact that they made Sulu gay, and then Simon Pegg's like, no, we're gonna make him gay, and then they make Sulu gay, and then gay activists are like, you didn't go far enough. And I'm inclined to agree with them. I just want to just see some meat slapping in this movie.
Yeah, I think you're by yourself. You're by yourself with that one. Okay.
That's because I'm just more progressive than most people.
Yeah, yeah, more progressive. We'll go with that.
It's another P word, but I'm sticking with progressive.